Hey everybody, it is Rel. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to build a HELLCAT supercharger. So, I sent my supercharger off in the mail to get painted. So I just got it back, so I got to assemble it again. And you guys didn't see it before when I got it ported, but now you can see it since I got it painted. So this is a billet bearing plate I got installed on this supercharger. These are upgraded race bearings. So I got a billet bearing plate for more airflow, and the inside of the supercharger ported. So now we're gonna put it back together. The first step, they had some overspray in there that I cleaned out. Taking this air compressor and I'm gonna blow this out. I'll get with you after I get done blowing this out. Okay, we got the supercharger blown out with the air compressor. Now we're gonna start putting this together. The first step is putting these coolant bricks in. It's labeled right here, passenger. So if I'm looking at the front, Snout, this is the passenger side. So I'm gonna put one in, and I'll show you here in a sec. Alright, with both of your hands, you're going to tilt this side in first. What I do with this rubber piece, I put my finger inside the supercharger, and I hold the rubber piece on it as I'm tilting it in. And I push it. You can see right here, this goes in the slot. So I pushed it all the way over there. Then you can push this down. As you can see, it is in the slot. Make sure it's flush everywhere. As you can see right here is not flush. So, oh, right here it's hitting. So I need to push it that way. One sec. There we go. Now it's flush. Now we can put these on. Okay, so these O-rings on the back of the cooling bricks, we need to put some grease on those. It'll just help when I put this bar on the back for it to slide in. Also, these two O-rings right here, I'm going to take some of this grease and I'm going to rub it on these O-rings. And as you can see, right here all the way around, I'm going to push them in, and the grease is going to hold them in, so then I can put that bar on the back. After I grease it, I'll show you. Okay, we got the O-rings in there, we got grease on them, holding the O-rings in. Now we're going to put this coolant bar in. Just going to line both sides up. Now we can start putting the bolts in. Okay, we got the coolant bar in. We got one of the map sensors in. Those are mix and match. You can put them anywhere. Now we are putting these little pieces in right here to help hold these coolant bricks in. So that rubber right there, you just make sure it lines up with that indentation right there. you'll see there's one for each side. They kind of go a little off center like that. So I'm gonna put these screws in, just tying them snug by hand. These are real small screws in, just holding this, so they don't need to be like 50 foot-pounds or nothing like that. So I'm gonna torque these down real quick, and I'll get right back with you. So we got the strips in, these metal strips holding down the coolant bricks. Now it's time to put the snout on. Since I have a billet bearing plate, we can't use a regular gasket. We have to use this anaerobic gasket maker by Permatex. I already spreaded that on there. And now I have to line these pins up with these holes in the bearing plate. Also, you got a dowel pin on each corner. Make sure it's not stuck in the snout or something if you took it off, which rarely happens. So now I'm gonna put this on here, and I'll show you as soon as I get it on there. Okay, it took a couple tries, but I got the snout on. I lined the pins up, and then I grabbed the back of the supercharger like this and pushed it together. And I put some bolts in. And now I'm gonna go all the way around it and slowly sink these bolts in. I gotta go even all the way around. And I'll get back with you when I'm done. This is it all the way together. As you can see, I might have put a little too much gasket maker on there, but I'll get that cleaned up. It's because I had a little bit of paint I couldn't get off there. I cleaned it as best as I could, so I made it a little thicker. But so now I'm gonna get a Q-tip or something and get that excess all the way around. Yeah, let me get some Q-tips, that'll be better. And then I'm gonna show you the torque sequence. Got that gasket maker cleaned up. This looks insane. That black snout, the black supercharger. With the black valve covers, it's just gonna look insane. So got her all on there. The snout is supposed to be torqued to 26 foot-pounds. And the sequence is supposed to be the bottom middle, top left, bottom left, bottom right, and top right. That is the sequence in 26 foot-pounds. I had a long extension on there, so I would go a little extra, like 30 foot-pounds. That's what I did. But she's all together. Yes, sir. Now, put another map sensor up here on the front. And then we will put this one right here. I'll get right back with you. Alright, I got this rubber boot section in right here. It's just 3 bolts, 3 small bolts, and this is just holding this down. Just zip it in with the impact real quick and tighten it with your hands. It only needs to be like 10 foot-pounds or something like that. Got this map sensor in. Got all this put together, got the back. Next thing we're gonna do is put the lid on. So, there's these 3 little O-rings. These go right there. But it looks like there's a chunk of dirt or something right there. 1 second. If you can see it, yeah. Alright, we got that dirt out. We'll take these 3 O-rings, put them in these holes, just like that. Those go right there for the slit. Now I'll show you the torque sequence here in a minute. So next thing you want to do is get this gasket lined up here for your lid. Looking good, looking all lined up. You want to go over here to your lid. Make sure these little green gaskets are pushed all the way over. All these are looking good. Pushed in and over, in and over. Now I'm going to flip this lid and put it on there carefully so I don't scoop the gasket over. And I'll show you in a sec. So I put this lid on and I torqued the bolts in, 21 bolts. I did it over here on this counter and I was recording the last video for it and the camera died and it did not save the video. That's very unfortunate. But this thing's too heavy, so I called my brother-in-law over here to lift it up on the block with me. And so I put the lid on and I put these 21 bolts in. There's 5 like 3-4 inch long bolts that go on the top right here, 16 1-inch bolts that go around the lid, and then after we lifted it up on the block, there's 2 dowel pins on the corner of the supercharger right here and on the back. And when you lower the supercharger on the block, those pins drop in place and it helps everything line up. So after you put that on there, then you got 10 bolts for the supercharger that are like a foot long. They go through this whole entire supercharger down into the block. So here's the torque sequence for that. You'd have to pause the video and screenshot this. This is the torque sequence for the lid right here, and for the foot long bolts holding the supercharger down to the block. So it don't look like you can see very well, so you'll just have to look up online the torque sequence of a HELLCAT supercharger lid and the bolts that go through the whole supercharger. Because like I said, this is my first time I've ever done this, so I'm not a professional or nothing like that. I'm learning for the first time. So I'm a beginner, showing you as maybe a beginner some steps, basic steps on how to put together a HELLCAT supercharger. So we pretty much did the whole thing together. I'm sorry I couldn't get the last of it, but that is how you put together a HELLCAT supercharger, and it is looking real nice. You got this black snout, looking real good. So I appreciate you watching the video. If you like the video, like and subscribe. More stuff's coming soon. This car is going to be insane.